Amazon has had a busy and slightly chaotic start to 2026. And if you've been following the headlines, it's hard not to feel like the company is moving in two completely different directions all at once. On one side, Amazon is going full sci-fi. It's satellites, AI infrastructure, and massive long-term bets on the future of computing. On the other, the Washington Post, Jeff Bezos' legacy media acquisition, is shrinking fast, with major layoffs raising uncomfortable questions about what the future of that institution actually looks like. And when you zoom out, one bigger question becomes pretty hard to ignore. Is Bezos quietly shifting his focus away from influence and journalism and rather towards infrastructure, technology, and control of the digital pipeline instead? Because that's kind of what this looks like. Amazon has reportedly received approval from the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, to launch 4,500 additional low Earth orbit satellites, LEOs, dramatically expanding its Project Kuiper plans. That's not a small, we're testing the waters move. It's a serious statement. It reinforces that Amazon isn't treating satellite broadband as just a side project. It's treating it like a pillar of its future. The aim is clear: deliver global internet coverage, particularly in underserved regions, and compete directly with SpaceX's Starlink. This is Amazon doing what Amazon always does. It's looking at a market dominated by somebody else and then building its own version and trying to make it into a larger ecosystem. If Kuiper works, Amazon won't just be selling internet. It'll be laying the groundwork for global AWS expansion, international logistics connectivity, and an entirely new infrastructure layer it can build on top of. At the same time, Amazon is ramping up its AI investment in a way that's starting to make investors twitchy. Reports suggest Amazon's share price dipped amid concerns about aggressive spending, particularly tied to AI infrastructure and cloud expansion. Amazon has been clear about where it's placing its chips: data centers, chips, generative AI capabilities, and cloud scale. And to be fair, the logic is solid. AWS is still Amazon's profit engine, and AI is quickly becoming the main battleground in tech. If Amazon wants to keep pace with Microsoft and Google, it has to spend now. The catch is that AI infrastructure isn't cheap, and Wall Street tends to panic when growth investment starts to look like massive cash burn. Still, Amazon isn't behaving like a company that's trying to win the next quarter. It's behaving like a company that's trying to own the next era of computing altogether. Now for the sharp contrast. The Washington Post is reportedly undergoing major layoffs, with suggestions that hundreds of journalism jobs could have been saved under different internal decisions. It's been pretty controversial. The details are messy and people are understandably upset, but the result is clear. The newsroom is being cut down significantly. And this is where the Bezos question starts to get interesting. Because while Amazon is aggressively expanding into AI and space-based connectivity, one of the most influential media brands in the world is scaling down in a very public and very painful way. It's hard not to read that as kind of symbolic. Not necessarily because Bezos has given up on the Post, but because it suggests journalism and prestige may no longer be where the real energy is going. If you connect the dots, Amazon's strategy looks increasingly obvious. The goal is to own infrastructure, not headlines. Satellites are infrastructure. AI is infrastructure. The cloud is infrastructure. Chips are infrastructure. And infrastructure is power. The Washington Post is influence, but it's influence tied to an old model, one that struggles to scale, struggles to monetize, and struggles to compete with the platforms that now dominate attention. So while these stories might look unrelated, they point to one theme. Bezos' world is shifting away from storytelling and towards systems, the systems that run everything. None of this means Bezos is abandoning media entirely, but it does suggest that his real obsession has always been scale, reach, and long-term dominance, not just cultural impact for its own sake. Not that anybody really ever thought that. In 2026, the biggest leverage doesn't come from owning a newspaper, it comes from owning the infrastructure behind cloud computing, AI workloads, and global connectivity. So maybe the real story isn't that the Washington Post is shrinking. Maybe it's that Amazon is quietly building something far bigger, and Bezos is once again betting that the future belongs to whoever controls those pipes. And the real question is this just smart strategy? Or is it a very clear sign of where Bezos thinks the world is headed?